And it's not just TikTok or Chinese tech that is under question. The country is also mass-producing seemingly harmless devices, which in fact may not be as safe as people think. After spreading the Wuhan virus, China seems to be on track to create another pandemic. And this one too could harm your lungs. I am talking about vapes. Have a look at these devices. They are called ELF bars. Look at their pastel colors. They look so harmless, don't they? They come in all sorts of fruity flavors: cherry, bubblegum, watermelon. You can choose from 40 different options. You can even match them with your aesthetic outfits. You can get 600 puffs for $6 and then you can just throw them away. It is more than enough to entice teenagers. But believe me, these vaping devices are not as innocent as they seem. They are loaded with nicotine and they are getting teenagers addicted. Their e-liquid contains 20 milligrams of nicotine per milliliter. 20 milligrams of nicotine per milliliter. This, by the way, is the highest concentration permitted in the UK. But the ELF bar 600 range was caught flouting. Its nicotine levels were 50% over the legal limit. China produces them. The UK imports them. If you just take a stroll down a British street, you will find their unrecyclable carcasses strewn in the gutters, on bus floors, chucked into hedges. More than 2.5 million of the Chinese ELF bars are sold in the UK each week. They are available in garages and corner shops. Very few sellers bother to check if the buyers are above 18 years old. And it's not just the ELF bars, by the way. Teenagers below 18 are puffing on all kinds of disposable vapes. Some of them have the same amount of nicotine as 48 cigarettes. 48 cigarettes. The situation has gotten out of hand. Some students cannot go through lessons without vaping in toilets. Schools are paying hefty plumbing bills. Why? Because discarded vapes keep blocking their cisterns. Many students stress over getting through a 2-hour examination without vaping. So much that they are buying nicotine patches. They use the nicotine rush to power through their essays. Student halls reek of strawberry and banana. In 2022, 15.8% of 11 to 17-year-olds had tried vaping. 7% were active users. More than half of the children who vaped said that they preferred e-cigarettes. And the most popular brand was ELF bar. Now, can you even imagine an 11-year-old exhaling smoke? Most of these children have never smoked a cigarette in their life. And yet, they get addicted to vapes. And why is that? Why does that happen? Because Chinese brands like the ELF bars know how to sell their product and they don't care who is buying them. In fact, they might even be targeting impressionable minds. Let me tell you about some facts here. Social media influencers promote ELF bars. The company pays them for doing this. They have been seen smoking on camera. And these videos are not age restricted. They are not always clearly marked as advertisements. And this is what has been happening on TikTok. Hashtag ELF bar has had nearly 100 million views. The platform is used by half of 8 to 11-year-olds and 1/3 of the 16 to 17-year-olds in the UK. You see, youngsters are exposed to such content. So what else do you expect will happen? China, you see, is playing a very smart game here. In recent years, it has cracked down on the booming vaping industry. Last year, it banned the sale of flavoured e-cigarettes. Vapes that had flavourings other than tobacco could not be sold on Chinese domestic market. Pay attention to my words here, the domestic market. It is still very much okay with exporting the same poison to the UK. Now, calling it poison might seem like an overstatement, but let me tell you, we are yet to find the actual repercussions of the vaping devices, what the impact is like. Public Health England says that vapes can help you give up smoking cancerous cigarettes. Now that makes sense for the adult smokers, but what about the budding teenagers and the adolescents? They might not go out to buy a cigarette, but they are very likely to buy a bubblegum flavored, sweet smelling vape. These devices are laying the groundwork. Smoking could very well be the next step, and China seems to be okay with it. Because why would it care about the youth of other countries? As of now, experts suspect 3 major risk factors associated with vaping. First one being the nicotine. It alters brain growth and changes the brain development. A study by Wisconsin University found that vapes cause the same spikes in blood pressure and the heart rate as smoking tobacco. Number 2, chemicals and flavorings in the vaping liquid. Some of their components, like diacetyl, can permanently scar the lung issue. They are also suspected to affect the ability to taste. And number 3, the metal particles from the device. Studies of blood and urine samples from users contained lead and arsenic. Now, these metals can increase the risk of cancer and other diseases. They can also directly damage the lung tissue. So if you think vapes are harmless, you might want to think again. Users may not see the dangers right now, but they might be evident 30 to 40 years down the lane. We may see a wave of chronic lung problems due to the chemicals being inhaled. And China has tactically banned all flavouring. Ireland is considering outlawing all disposable vapes as litter. It is already banned in Japan and India. Australia asks for a prescription before selling vapes. Yet, Public Health England is not taking any notes, it seems. It still thinks vaping devices are better than cigarettes. But are they? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.